Good evening, salutations, my GH fans. Man, this show was busy. Busy, 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 busy. You had so many damn people. And I'm going to apologize in advance if I missed somebody because you just had too many goddamn people in this episode. Um, I want to start off with Michael and Sasha because they are driving this Michael versus Sunny plot so hard that when Sasha was there talking up Sunny, as far as it was really Sunny that made sure that she didn't fall and hurt her head, and he was really worried about her, and he really insisted on her going to the hospital to get help. Otherwise, if we would have took her lead, she still would have just been there. Nobody would have been the wiser. And he heard all that, and he didn't even acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm upset with him, but I really got to be grateful for him. Like some sort of acknowledgement of something good that he did. But he just looked and was like, so yeah, I really want to sit there and thank you for just getting to the hospital on time. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? Like, what? And again, I know that Michael is upset with Sonny, but not even acknowledging a little bit is like, what? Oh, sidebar. I was talking to a subscriber because I don't know if you remember. Well, it was yesterday. I was talking about how I didn't like the second version of Christina. I still do not like her to this day. But funny enough, it was the actress that was on 100. If you are a sci-fi fan, watch 100. It's really great. Even though the ending is very divisive, but the series is actually pretty great. Her name is Lindsay Morgan. And when when I was sitting there thinking about her and just hearing her voice, I was like, it sounds so familiar. And I'm like, where have I heard that voice before? Oh yeah, not Octavia, Jesus Christ, Raven. Anyway, I don't know. I thought it was really funny. I was like, wait, it's like I really hated that character. Really loved the actress. Anyway, TJ is telling Willow that she's pregnant, and TJ goes to get Michael, and you know, um, Willow tells Michael that she's pregnant, and at first they're kind of shocked about it, and then they're ecstatic about it. So, but my whole other thing is TJ's like, well, Willow was like, okay, well, that doesn't explain for the other times, the other couple of months that she wasn't pregnant, and what made her collapse, what made her weak, and everything like that. So, he's gonna be sitting there running some tests. So while everyone, while both of them are sitting there celebrating and being all happy, is also you kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Now, TJ told Diana make Deanna to sit there and make a call, to get her set up or whatever for some tests or whatever, as far as the pregnancy is concerned. Tell me why this idiot is speaking so loud that Sasha heard her on the other side of the counter. I mean, granted, yeah, I'm not saying but she was so loud that I'm just like, if somebody else overheard that and Willow was to get mad about that, Deanna's not there being all happy, like, isn't that just great news? I was like, what wouldn't be great news? You being fired for HIPAA. I mean, I know that this show in the past has, treat HIPAA like it's just, well, it just really doesn't matter, but still, I'm just like, idiot. Anyway, this hits her hard. She goes back to the house. She overhears Sasha. I mean, she overhears, Gladys Smith, they talk about how she's going to be, moving out and everything like that. And next thing you know, she's Smith there. Well, she got a call from the paparazzi. And, he needs credentials to get in some sort of, inside, Because Sasha's gonna be sitting there doing something with like the shopping channel, or whatever. So he needs an N. And he's like, hey, listen, if I get an N, I got you. And at first she was resistant, but eventually, she's like, ah, yeah, I got you. Because, she wants to then deal with the pain, well, avoid the pain of, Liam and everything like that. Now, I've said this multiple goddamn times, and I feel like, I think at this point, before I even finish my cup, well, before I finish my sip, you know what I'm going to say. Yeah, therapy. But of course, that's not really a reality, so she's just going to keep, doing what she's doing. Now, I got to sit there and ask, because I read in the not my comment section or whatever, but just when I go to clips of GH or whatever, some people are just like, oh, I'm just so tired of this, this drug storyline and yada yada yada. And some people are just kind of tired of, the drug storyline with Sasha. I'm gonna be honest. It is a real, you know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those things where it's like just because you're clean now doesn't mean it is a constant fight. It's a constant fight every day to not give in to addiction. Doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, whatever. It's a constant struggle. Um, so at first I was like, "Yep, you're gonna be sitting there taking." Okay, but then I really thought about. It, I was like, "Well, you know what? Listen, it makes sense because even though you're clean, doesn't mean that you can't slip up." Um, I mean, I know that she went to like meetings and stuff like that, but that was before the pregnancy, I think. Yeah, I think that was before the pregnancy. Yeah, that was before the pregnancy. But I'm like, she never really dealt with her grief on a professional level. And I'm just like, and granted, I get it. It's one of those things you gotta eventually come around to doing. It's not something that's just gonna, So while I'm sitting there being very flippant about it, as far as, so Sasha, when are you gonna sit there and see Kevin? Because this is getting kind of old now. Because part of me does feel like that. But the other part of me is like, well, this is a journey, and it is what it is. Um, and unfortunately, it's reality. So after some gross innuendos with Esme, as far as Rory, she wants to sit there and try to see Ryan, and she wants his help to do that. But you know, at first, Rory's like, "Yo, I can't really do anything. I'm a cop. You need a lawyer. Like, what are you talking about?" When he starts to thinking about how he wants to sit there and try to help Trina. So he's like, hey, listen, give me a number, give me a phone. I'll put the phone number in your phone. And I'm like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just going to sit there and just give you her phone. She knows that you've been spending time with Trina, but you're just going to somehow just, oh, yeah, sure, I'll give you my phone. And I sat there and I was like, that's a rookie mistake, but he's also a rookie cop. So I'm just like, it is what it is. Trina does come over there, and at first she's like, "What's going on?" And then Esme leaves, and he tells her like, "Hey, I was trying to help you out because she caught that last wind of it as far as Rory being like, yeah, I want to sit there and try to give her a number that can help her out, but she didn't trust me." Um, Now Trina's like, "Yo, listen, you need to just leave her alone. You don't want her on your bad side. She is smart. She is crazy. You don't want to go there." Now, I remember a couple weeks ago, I made a thumbnail. I had a thumbnail up saying that, Asmir gets Rory fired. Now, at first, you know, maybe don't really sit there and pay attention to it. But, I mean, what better way to sit there and start taking down Trina, and then taking down the people that's going to sit there and help her? So, let's put it this way. I don't think I feel like in the future that's something that's going to wind up happening. that she's going to sit there and go after Rory's job. She meets up with Spencer, and Spencer's not there just glaring hard at Trina and Rory. Earlier, at first he went to go see Brad. Brett was there, Brett's like, listen, I handle it. Spencer does give a sincere apology. Now, after a couple of minutes, because he really has to sit there and put in work, he does genuinely apologize for what he said, um, and ask Brett's help as far as like comparing DNAs or what DNA samples. He's like, listen, I need to sit there and try to help Esme, um, try to find her parents and stuff like that. So if I get two samples, would you help me? And more or less, she agreed. Um, yeah, she agreed. So I don't know. I thought that was nice of him to actually apologize because they were really close back in the day, and what he did say was terrible, just awful. And Spencer is a very interesting character in some ways because when he first got to town, he started flirting with Trina, and then out of nowhere, oh yeah, I got a girlfriend. So that was just never mind Esme for a minute. That was just some really shady-ish of him. But then he was not there giving her good advice as far as, helping out Trina with her mom and stuff like that because, she had a secret or whatever. And Trina was feeling some sort of way. And he gave her some really good sage advice. Um, and, at the time I was like, bro, you are such a dick. But then after he gave her advice, I was like, okay, you're kind of interesting. Um, so, I mean, all in all, I would definitely sit there and say that he is a very interesting character because there's one day you can really sit there and hate his guts and be like, you're a dick. And then the next is like, wow, okay, you're really sincere about that. Hmm. So Curtis agreed, Curtis, said to Trina that he's gonna, help her out and Trina was like, oh well you don't have your PI license. And he's like, yeah, well, I'm still gonna help you out. I'm just like, bro, where was all that enthusiasm before when this whole thing went down in the beginning? I really didn't understand that. I understand that he was dealing with Marshall and everything like that, but I felt like that could have just took like a back seat to sit there and really help out Trina, especially since, I mean, you are, I'm not going to sit there and be crude about it, but you are seeing her mom. You would sit there and think, you know what? Let me really sit there and go out my way and really do something nice, for Trina and help out this, family I'm about to sit there and make. But like now it's getting to the point of trial. Now he's all like, oh, I guess I better get off my lazy ass and actually do something. Um, TJ comes by, Marshall agrees to help, and Marshall actually has some connection or whatever. He's able to get um like the name and number of somebody who deals with burner phones. So I'm just kind of like this could have just been done so much more earlier, um, instead of this last minute crap. But whatever. Um, so Marshall actually really came through. By the way, I generally want to know what does everyone think as far as Marshall, like the reason why he left his family for so many years. Like, is everyone cool with that story, or do you just feel underwhelmed? Because me personally, I feel extremely underwhelmed about that. I mean, I know he's there and everything like that, and we kind of somewhat moved on from it. But I feel like personally, it could have been handled in a much better way. Like he was actually in wet sack, or he didn't want to put his family in danger and stuff like that. Because I mean, I get he didn't want to hurt his family when they were little and stuff like that. I do feel like the whole let's pretend that he's dead is just over the line, even for that. But then for so many years, when the dude was literally a grown ass man, There was no reason why he couldn't go back into his life. And in a lot of ways, I feel like maybe this, if this is the story that sticks, where, he didn't want his mental health issues to affect his children and stuff like that. Like, if this is the storyline that they're going with, I'm gonna be honest, this is a terrible way of introducing a long lost relative into into Curtis' life, or into a character's life. And I don't know why, but it makes me think of This Is Us. You go through so many years, and then out of nowhere, Jack has a brother. And I'm be honest, if this was any other show, I would have been like, "Are you kidding me?" But because of the way that This Is Us is written, I was able to just let that slide. And any other show, that would have been lazy as hell. 2 seasons in about, oh, Jack has a brother. What? I mean, I know they didn't go to that many flashbacks of, his family. I mean, they did, but it's still just like, what? Anyway, part of me wants to, I want to then say, part of me wants to apologize for, spoiling it, but the show is pretty much done with at this point. So, and I'll actually tell you the truth, even with that spoiler, it's still really good. So Dante and Sam are Smith there talking about Cody, and then Cody shows up. Now, once again, Dante's like, yo, you sure you don't want to sit there and ID the guys that beat you up or whatever? I'm just like, whoa. Why I gotta be guys for? I've seen women that could destroy men. So I'm just putting that out there. But anyway, Cody's like, nah, it's dark and everything like that. They get to talking a little bit. Talk about Britt a little bit, I guess. And then Spinelli walks in. And then Cody throws out some sort of veiled threat. As far as, oh yeah, me and him, we go back, would you like to sit there and tell him, or should I? So he makes up something about the parachute and the landing and everything like that, and then Spinelli just runs off. And eventually, Cody gets like a day pass from Sam. So like, I'm just gonna, go to the pool or whatever and just hang out. And, Sam is like, yo, listen, we gotta sit down and find out, what's the deal with Cody and why he has Spinelli just run out like that. Now I'm sitting there thinking, you could have just been direct and like, yo, what's going on between you and him? But for some odd reason, we're just gonna go around stuff. I mean, granted, he probably wouldn't have actually said anything, but I feel like if this was a little bit more realistic, people would have been like, whoa, whoa, Spinner, where are you going? What was that about? No, what was that veiled threat about? Anyway, Cody tracks Spinelli down after, Spinelli talking to Zelda. And Cody's like, listen, I just need you to do this one thing. You do this one thing, and everybody's good. I don't have to ask you for anything more. I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing. I'm like, Spinelli, I don't understand how somebody who is so smart, in a lot of ways, can be so stupid. And I get that that's reality. You can have the smartest people in the world say and do the dumbest things. But when somebody blackmails you once, and then you sit there and say, well, I just need you to do this one more thing. You honestly think that he's just going to just let that go? And would you even want to give him a chance to let that go? Now, Sonny. Why don't you sit there and try to get Sonny to, take care of this guy for you? I mean, I saw in the previews, that's what Brooklyn was sitting there doing. I'm like, Sonny, people. And to be honest, I'm just like, I don't even understand how you got blackmailed in the first place, being that, people. Well, I feel like that's actually about it. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.